Call it triple F. Fashion, forward, philanthropy. I know how to spell philanthropy. Branding, though.
On Friday, May 22nd, the long-awaited second film from the filmmaker Boots Riley, I Love Boosters, came out in select theaters in America. Boots Riley is a self-proclaimed communist, hip-hop artist with the group The Coup, record producer, and in 2018, with his hit film Sorry to Bother You, became a director and screenwriter.
Hey, young blood, let me give you a tip. Use your white voice.
Man, I ain't got no white voice.
Oh, come on, you know what I mean. You have a white voice in there. You can use it.
Since then, he released the Amazon Prime show I'm a Virgo in 2023, but he has not released another feature film since Sorry to Bother You. All of Boots Riley's work has been about waking up to global labor exploitation, and with his home in Oakland, he's had a front seat to some of the most catastrophic changes capitalism has wrought, as the Bay Area is the front line to so much of the modern neoliberal tech nightmare we live under. Sorry to Bother You satirized big tech, with LaKeith Stanfield playing Cassius Green, getting a job on the analog side at a telemarketing company called Regalview that he quickly moves up the ladder at, realizing that the very top power caller level is actually selling slave labor from a giant Amazon-style logistics company called Worry Free.
Like this, young blood.
Hey, Mr. Kramer, this is Langston from Regalview. I didn't catch you at the wrong time, did I?
But even more messed up is the realization that Worry Free's CEO, Steve Lift, aims to turn these workers into equisapiens, half-horse, half-human workers who can be exploited for their strength and power. In I Love Boosters, Boots Riley takes aim at one of the Bay Area's other industries, fast fashion, starring Keke Palmer, Naomi Ackie, and Taylour Paige as the Velvet Gang, Corvette, Sadie, and Mariah. Three boosters, professional shoplifters who sell clothes and shoes on the black market for a fraction of the price, as well as LaKeith Stanfield, Will Poulter, Poppy Lou, Eiza Gonzalez, Don Cheadle, and Demi Moore as the fashion CEO, Christy Smith, bringing Boots Riley's unique blend of genre-bending leftist political filmmaking back to screen, combining comedy and sci-fi and the crime drama. After barely making ends meet by terrorizing the Bay Area's fashion industry, especially Christy Smith's Metro Designer, which is constantly being robbed by the Velvet Gang, Keke Palmer's Corvette is shocked to find out the CEO, Christy Smith, an MIT physicist turned fashion icon, has stolen one of her designs that she entered in a contest.
Get your camera out. Let's go live. You know the egregious theft that's been happening at my stores. The boosters take my clothes because they're low-class urban bitches.
Stealing from below obviously has huge consequences, while stealing from above has none unless you can prove it, which she can't. In order to get revenge, Corvette gets hired at Metro Designer, which has stores all over the Bay Area, and gets her friends hired at the store as well, playing to their biggest clothing boost yet. The working conditions at Metro are atrocious, and Corvette meets a class-conscious retail worker named Violetta, who's trying to organize for better conditions and higher pay.
We're trying to get together to get longer breaks and a third more of our money. We gotta force this. We gotta force it.
Burning Violetta while planning the heist, the Metro store ends up getting hit before the Velvet Gang can get it, by Jian Hu, a Chinese sweatshop worker for the Metro factory who has found a futuristic transporter device that Christy Smith stole from the CCP, which ends up actually being a machine that heightens the contradictions, using historical materialism to either get a heightened version or basic material reality of anything it's pointed at. The Velvet Gang adds a fourth member, and they decide to take down Christy Smith. The Velvet Gang as a group allow Boots Riley to discuss the exploitation of labor across borders and nations, linking the struggles of workers in a Chinese sweatshop, in stores in the Bay Area, and in poverty on the streets together. I Love Boosters uses crime and the underworld aspect of it to examine the alienation of the individual brought on by capitalism.
They've taken everything. It's
not even that yellow in here anymore.
Corvette is the loneliest character in the film, squatting in an abandoned chicken shop full of clothes. We also have a side plot where LaKeith Stanfield plays a demon model who sucks women's souls out through giving them head. LaKeith Stanfield enchants Corvette every time she sees him, and she loses herself in his eyes. However, it's neither the complete alienation of the self or romantic love that needs to be embraced. It's the collective spirit of workers rising against the bosses to take back collective power.
But the thing that we talked about we needed was big, bold color to get people into the theaters and see it on the big screen. So we got Natasha Breyer, our cinematographer. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to find new ways of bringing even more color to all the color that you're bringing with the guys. So I'm flaring the lens, contaminating the black, so we never have black. The black always has a little bit of color, you know, trying to create more texture, contaminating sometimes with light, you know, with putting things in the filter, you know, different materials, you know, that create some kind of depth, you know, atmosphere. You think I'm crazy?
I know you're crazy, and that's why we got you on board.
I always thought, since the first time we talked, that we had to shoot anamorphic.
We need to talk about what anamorphic lenses are. So imagine that this is the real world. It would go on forever. There's a lot in it. When you use a normal spherical lens, it's cropped off there. But when you want to put it on a theater screen, often you're cropping something. You're cropping a lot. So you've got less information, and really that less information is going on this big screen. Let me tell you why I like anamorphic lenses is because you take this real world and you take this anamorphic lens and you squeeze everything that's around.
These devices that Boots Riley uses have been described as magical realism, the use of the surrealist and magical to better explain these larger forces and concepts without just preaching to an audience. There are surrealist ideas in I Love Boosters that range from the bizarre, such as a giant rolling ball of parking tickets and bills that follows Corvette around, and an army of skin suit wearing Yimby think tankers hired by Christy Smith to use real-world avatars to change culture itself. Who have appeared throughout the film as various characters: Dr. Jack, played by a fat suit-wearing Don Cheadle, crying black mother, upstanding community member, or base young dude played by Jermaine Fowler from Sorry to Bother You, as well as one named Candace Owens. Located somewhere between false consciousness, the lizard people, and crisis actors. Throughout the film, on Metro Designers' Metro TV, we hear that the skin suit's complaining about rent control because what if people want to pay more rent, or how a strike caused trauma because a guy liked the freedom of lower pay. At one point, Eric Andre plays a police officer who's been heightened by conflict, who goes full Clockwork Orange yelling about your blockos. The colors throughout I Love Boosters are pretty unlike anything I've ever seen: bright blues, greens, and yellows, including Corvette's obsession with a turquoise that Christy insists is aquamarine.
Defective one. It's your color.
Which is a similar bit to Steve Lift's Jade Door and Olive Door in Sorry to Bother You.
What the fuck, man? I said the jade door. That is the jade door. No, that's an olive door. That's very clearly an olive door. That's a jade door.
This helps drive Corvette's love of fashion, as well as her connection to the past. The soundtrack to I Love Boosters was put together by Nate Brenner and Meryl Garbius's Tune Yards, an Oakland lo-fi band who are married to each other. The most repeated song, Hi Ho, is quite a banger. The soundtrack also includes songs by Keke Palmer, After Sorry to Bother You was released at Sundance and then bought for distribution by Annapurna, Megan Ellison gave Boots Riley a first-look deal to work on a new screenplay. Annapurna ultimately passed on I Love Boosters, instead letting Neon buy the rights. At $20 million, it became their highest budgeted production they've done so far.
Yo,
Oh, shit. What the fuck, dude?
just wanted to see what it's like to be up here. You guys seem out of breath. You must be coming from your break.
Yeah, our lunch is 30 seconds.
Yeah, and Grayson gets an hour.
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open. If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron. and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/movie night extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Our show gets simulcast, or if we're not on it at regular time, played later on This Space. This Space is a working class independent media collective. YouTube.com/ThisSpaceTV. Subscribing really helps out, or even more, sharing content from This Space and encouraging others to do the same. By working together, we can break through the algorithm. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the co-host and senior producer for Movie Night Extravaganza, host of Protonic Reversal, an independent Film Critics of America film critic, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. Check out his music at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, a streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/cosmopolitics, a host at This Space, hosting Kristina's Corner, and is across social media at Cosmopolitics and on Letterboxd at Kristina. Forrest and Kristina have a second show, The Absurdity Space, live on This Space on Wednesdays at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. I, of course, am your host and a guy wearing a $100,000 skin suit, Forrest Miller. We're using real-life avatars to change culture itself.
That's right. This is known. So there we go. It's a first in a long series of blockbusters, new releases. We're in the summer season, baby.
Yeah,
summer season.
Especially like the indie movies. You know, you got The Obsession, this film, Backrooms, which a lot of people are having discourse about whether or not a 20-year-old can direct a film. I'm like, yeah, no guy under 30 has ever made a box office success.
Right. I mean, yeah, like
Citizen Kane.
Talk to Steven Spielberg, talk to Orson Welles. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was funny. And also, that's the dude that created the thing, the original thing, too.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and also, I gotta say, Renata Reinsva in that as well. She's ruling the game right now. So, I mean, I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah.
This was definitely the one that I was most excited about, for sure, coming up. That and Mandalorian and Grogu, because I do like Star Wars still, despite hating almost all Star Wars discourse. But you know, it did not disappoint at all.
No, it was so I loved it. And again, like we were talking in chat, the colors. Oh my God, it's like, wow, no urine yellow to be found here. What is this?
And Forrest, you did such a great job with that, pulling that clip that talks about I don't even know where the hell that's from, but it's great.
Even that looks good.
Yeah, well, exactly, because it's also, this is, I think, one of the good influences of Gerwig's Barbie, that we get this Jacques Demy style color in like modern filmmaking techniques. Because again, we've been all Fincherized. You know, it's like, I think like movies like Blow and whatever, where it's like everything's dark and like, yeah, urine yellow, as we're fond of saying on this show.
Yo, can you hear me? Am I back?
Yeah, there you go. You're good. And it's you know, just it's striking. Well, they make great. I forget the person who does the costume design for this. Holy crap! What are the best costume design like in the entire year? It's like, it's remarkable.
Yeah, it also kind of reminds me of the film Hard Candy, because I've mentioned it a few times with Patrick Wilson, L.A. Page, like the brightness of some of the rooms he was using in his house, the color, the changing of like the mood. With
Shirley Kurata, by the way, is the costume.
She's amazing.
So good.
And she's worked with did she work with him on Sorry to Bother You, or is it I don't know. I should maybe ask that.
I think this is the same.
She's done something else I've seen. I know that.
I think this is the same. Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's where she got.
That's what. Yeah, that's what. Yes.
That.
That's right. That's right. So I remember hearing about that as like scuttlebutt for the movie. By the way, sorry for the audio listeners, but for the for people watching on YouTube, Forrest and I look like beefy action figures with small bottoms.
Yes.
With this background.
Apple bottom jeans, boots.
All right. I guess she did not. She did not do Sorry to Bother You, but she did Everything Everywhere All at Once, Opus, which I haven't seen. And Soul Searching, which is, I guess that was back when she was in Korea working in as a costume.
Soul SEOUL.
Yeah,
Soul Searching. Okay. It must have been that it was Everything Everywhere All at Once, because again, having rewatched that again recently,
you got the Oscar for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and like well deserved. Like it's pretty stunning work. And I remember hearing because it feels like this movie's been, I heard about it for so long. That was like, oh, the costume designer for Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to be working with Boots Riley. I'm like, oh man, that's going to rule. That's going to be wonderful, right?
Yeah, and also with hearing about, I love Boots for a long time because Boots Riley was going hard on this because we're all familiar with the stupid discourse surrounding the funding for this film. But like, he was really like promoting it and telling people, hey, like very old school style campaign.
Let's talk about that. The promotions themselves are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just real quick. Love this movie so much. I went and saw it twice. So amazingly stylish and fun. Absolutely.
Dude, if I had been able to get in like a second viewing before doing this today, and I realized today it was playing at 3, but I was like, I need to get some sleep.
Well, one of the promotions was they gave people free gas, which is so great because it's like, talk about like communism in action, right?
Dude,
like as using your promotional budget to like literally give people gas. And
I know.
Can you do that?
No. I know you fucking hate even talking about the Everything app, but he's on there helping fans or people that want to see the movie. He's on there actually like helping people. Like there was a guy that was like, oh, I want to see the movie, but he was in like Canada. They need more people in Canada so they can open up more screens. And he's been very he's been extremely like honest about like where the process is. So they opened up like a very small to start with, like a very small amount of screens. People were shocked how few
down there for me. The fact that I was able to see it.
It's opening up more and more. Like it's so like it's
got the aesthetic of an A24 producing a feature-length 90s fruit snack commercial.
He's doing one of those
word of mouth campaign, which we rarely hear about,
which we're trying to be a part of, and we're guess what? We're not single-handedly taking credit for Everything Everywhere All at Once, but we were pretty far ahead of that.
I will say though,
we had Boots Riley on, but he never got back to us.
Shout out to Boots Riley. He actually the other day he retweeted the intro to this.
Yeah.
God, why does this have to happen on the Elon app, man? That place sucks. Go somewhere else. There's thousands of options, and all of your complaints about the rest of them are invalid. Yeah, it's like you can make. A platform is determined by who is on the platform. Everybody just fucking going back. Sorry, and I'm the one breaking the cursing rule because I'm so mad about it. Just going back to the thing formerly known as Twitter is pathetic.
All right, let's reel it in.
You should feel shamed.
Let's reel it in.
Yeah.
So that word of mouth thing is actually is very cool. It's crazy to see him engage individually, like with people that want to see the movie. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's like
as far as it's you know, is that marketing or is that just good creative?
Both.
Ownership.
Both. Yeah.
I know something you hate, Forrest, actually, Conan, no, you hate this. It's something that, a lot of people were calling Boots Riley for like, oh, he's getting this movie funded by the Ellisons. And it's like, no, that didn't happen. Shut up. Like, that's what started.
Basically what the funding deal was. I actually know what this is. So, Annapurna bought from Sundance, bought the rights to distribute Sorry to Bother You, which is Boots Riley had self-financed. Like he had financed through like his own company, and then he was looking for a distributor at Sundance, as you do. And basically he got a first look deal from Annapurna to work on the screenplay. And once the screenplay was done, they were like, yeah, we don't want to do this. But they made a deal to sell the rights to Neon, and this became at $20 million, because Neon obviously was a distribution company originally, not a production company, as A24 started also as a distribution company, not a production company. So they're trying to do more and more.
They've expanded just like how they expanded. Yeah. I mean, they ruled the game for international last year. Yeah. I mean, all the international contenders were all freaking Neon, man.
Mm-hmm.
But right. I mean, 20 million, like in the world of the MCU kind of movies, right? Like it's a drop in the bucket. But in the world of like mid-sized, being able to create like a mid-sized kind of
or even like Obsession, it was like it was less than $1 million, and it's gotten like 8 times over that. So it's people are starting, or again, we go through these cycles like, do people want to see mid-budget stuff? I'm like, yeah, if it's good, if it looks good, it's acting well, like yes.
I think
and the promotion too. You got to really do promotion.
Yeah, and this is a little miracle of a movie that way, right? Because this is not. First of all, it's not intellectual property. It's probably the opposite of that, if such an opposite exists. And it's it's deeply original, much like Sorry to Bother You was, but in a way that it kind of makes it hard to turn people onto it and be like, it's crazy, and that's a compliment,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like,
I feel like
in fact,
so many
didn't somebody say that? Yeah.
So many people saw Sorry to Bother You, I feel like, at the time. And I remember I saw that in theaters too. And that was one of those movies that I was like, oh, I'll take a chance on this. Like, it seems really cool. I like LaKeith Stanfield. I was really into Atlanta at the time. I was watching it all the time. So I was like, oh shit, it's it's one of the guys from Atlanta. So I'll check this out. It was Darius. So I went, and I was really just blown away by it. And it was right around the time I had started working for TMBS. And I remember I saw the movie. It was like really early in its showings. It wasn't like obviously the first weekend or anything, but it was like one of the first weeks it was out. And I remember I got onto I started editing, and I was kind of freaked out by it, like the whole Equisapien part of it, where just a horseman falls out of the thing, like really like kind of made me jump because I just did not expect that to happen.
Right.
And I remember I was kind of just buzzing after I saw it, and then I had to go edit clips for the rest of the night for Michael Brooks, and they were talking about it on there too, and I was like, oh shit. So like that for a word of mouth thing, because at that point, right, like now you could say, hey, remember Sorry to Bother You, which it did really well on streaming. It was on Hulu for the longest time. Once it was out of theaters, it did really well in theaters too. But once it was in that, you could be like, hey, the guy that made Sorry to Bother You made another movie, and now he has like that. But what you want to do in these cases, right? It was $3.2 million for a production budget for Sorry to Bother You, and then this is obviously $20 million. You want to make that first movie for at least like a couple $1 million, or even less than $1 million sometimes, and then you want to make your you want to jump up from there. You want the budget to be able to increase because then you can create more, you can bring more to that world. But each time, if the movie does well, they have more and more faith in that the movie's going to turn a profit, which is obviously also the irony of creating something like this, where the point of it is to spark conversations about the revolutionary potential that we have in this society. And then you're kind of constrained by the fact in an interesting way, which the movie comments on throughout it, right? Like these like contradictions where you're making a movie under a capitalist system and you need money to do that, but you also are trying to spark a revolution.
Are you not you don't want a bill to be voted on the floor? Are you filibustering now? I agree with everything you're saying, but good lord, man.
All right.
I
was muted for a good 5 minutes.
It was getting pent up, if you know what I mean.
We got it's just the three of us.
It's just us, man. It's just us.
The three of us. Well, can we talk about like the score? And
before that, can I talk about the fact that this is a uniquely Bay Area movie and that I have a personal connection to people involved with
Conan, of course.
And that it's one of the first, it actually is the first movie I saw after moving to Milwaukee that is maybe one of the only things that actually made me homesick, even though I definitely, when I say goodbye to Oakland, I was saying goodbye, was Sorry to Bother You. Because it makes such great usage of the Bay Area as a character. Everyone talks about, New York is like a character in like After Hours or what have you, right? But there's we talked about one of the movies that does it recently, Vertigo, for San Francisco, but rarely ever do you see that from the town. And Boots Riley, again, one degree of separation away from me. My friend Ryan, full disclosure, did the theme song for Sorry to Bother You, right? And Damien, who works with Boots Riley all the time, like works on a lot of the stuff as well. Meryl Garbus, Tune Yards, all that stuff's like really close to me. So of course I'm going to be a little bit biased for it, but it's interesting to me that I feel like we've got two kinds of surrealistic filmmakers, and one of which is just the combining A plus B sort of thing, like your Nicholas Winding Refn, where it's like, oh yeah, it's Michael Mann plus David Lynch. Yeah, and and I can mean that as a compliment, or I can mean that as an insult, depending on the movie or the project.
How it's fleshed out.
Correct, right. But like the vibe and the ambiance is referential to something else. And then you have like whatever it is Boots Riley is doing. Where some people have said Fellini-esque, and I think he did a Criterion Closet, right, where it was I guess I'll watch these. Everyone keeps saying that that my stuff's like it. I've never seen it.
Okay, he admitted that he has seen Nights of Siberia.
That's canonically, everyone on this show knows that's my favorite one.
But that's
neorealism. That's not even surrealistic.
Imagine Boots Riley, Adam McKay on the Do Nights of Kabir together with us. That would have been sick. But none of us would have got to talk. We've done it.
The three of us.
but then there's also things like, so what I like. Look, all respect for Jacques Demy, right? Like Umbrellas of Cherbourg. Iconic movie, Young Girls of Roquefort, but the movies themselves I'm like not that into, but the color the usage of color is so iconic. That's why I was so stoked when Barbie, again, Gerwig's Barbie came out. Because I was like, wow, this really looks like a world of, toys. And I was like, I'm looking forward, just in the same way that when we talked about Everything Everywhere All at Once, hoping that it has an influence for people to creatively, rather than like trying to ape it's so crazy, that I feel like this is coming from that same pool. So this would be that second set that I'm talking about. This would be that second set of surrealist filmmaker that's like, it's just like how he views the world. And I say that because, did either of you see I'm a Virgo? The series?
I keep meaning to. I know it's about a 30-foot tall black guy, and
dude, it's if you're into this movie and the other movie, you'll be into it.
Yeah,
but
I keep meaning to, and then it hasn't.
He has the repeated motifs. It's slightly different. The building that Walton Goggins' weird superhero character is in, they have an elevator, but the whole building moves around the thing. And that is an homage to this building that exists in San Francisco that's just incredibly poorly built, that like is now it takes up a place that was like you got like a sense of awe by coming over the Bay Bridge of the city of San Francisco, and now you see this horse crap building that's there. So that's even more directly homage than this, where that's Demi Moore's building that's like tilted because they actually built it on it. It's actually like just the foundation isn't super solid, so it's kind of like what the original Leaning Tower of Pisa was before they decided that it was cool and decided to make that a thing. That it actually is angled, although not like how it is in the movie. But it's referencing a real life thing that like you have to be the most inside baseball Bay Area person and or be driving over the Bay Bridge for some degree of regularity to even like notice that. We're like, is that building kind of like not quite centered? But it's so dominant and so recent, and it's that new tech money. And so using that where it's like an inside joke inside an inside joke inside another inside joke is just the kind of layered creativity that he's doing with this. And I think that that's so fantastic. And because, again, we're talking about an area that, whether we like it or not, I don't, defines culture in all the ways that I hate these days through these corporations and these social media things, especially, that like light them up, man. Light them up. And what this movie's largely about is it's a billionaire taking the ideas of these working class people and selling it back to them at like maximum profit.
Well,
right?
and I like the juxtaposition, I guess, of boosters being something that, for the longest time, these conversations have happened where it's like, like even around the discourse of this movie, the first, which I think drove Boots Riley a little bit insane, the first thing everyone said is it's going to promote shoplifting. It's boosters. They look forward.
Oh, how terrible.
In this case, right?
So
there's like multiple songs about this on Coup Records, by the way, that like came out years ago. But okay, sure.
But there's a very a clear thing of what happens to you as a poor person who gets caught shoplifting, right? Like you can't afford bail, you're thrown in jail, that sticks with you forever. Your life is fucked after that. From the top, you really have to like prove without a shadow of a doubt that person stole your idea. It's still theft. And in the same way, they have.
And if you have lawyers, you can get away with it. If you have money, you can get away with it, basically.
Yeah, and this is stealing from people who don't have either of those things. And then at the same time, there's this mid-level thing where it's wage theft, where they literally make the people that work at the stores pay for their own clothes, which is incredible.
Which is so it's played up for dramatic effect, obviously, because these are like designer clothes that are thousands and thousands of dollars. But that's a real thing that happens. And also, but like the way that it's played out with the homie was in like the Maze Runner and movies and all that stuff. I can't remember his name. The way that's played up. Will Poulter, thank you.
Yeah.
Where the music is like so loud they can't hear everything. Oh, I can't hear you. The music's too loud. Well, can you turn it down? And like, and it's like full vibe,
and the
half
music's
vibe,
like,
chill vibe. Yeah, and it's like, and it's just treated as like this is absolutely normal. I mean, it's again, it's taking things that actually happened, but amping them up to 12, right? Like
well, and the thing that they're trying to speak to him about too, it's like their paychecks are like $30 for an entire
because they're deducting.
Yeah, because they're
which
deducting,
again, real practice. That's a real practice that actually happens.
But like I mean, it's obviously the whole movie is heightening the contradictions, which is incredible, and I love that they just I love that that's even a phrase because that's the Black Panther thing from Oakland, back in the 60s, like that they were talking constantly about like how their practice or their praxis was heightening the contradictions, and also the yuppies talked about that all the time. That was their big, like when they tried to levitate the Pentagon, everyone was trying to heighten the contradictions at the time. We've kind of lost that, but in this movie it is heightening the contradictions of this thing where you're trying to have a conversation about your paycheck being $30, because not only do they deduct things that the outfits change every single day because the colors of everything changes every single day at the store, so you're constantly
which that's heightened up to the point of absurdity too, right? And that's but again, these are real things that if you work in apparel, that if you retail apparel, designer apparel especially, it's actually stuff that happens, and it's considered well, that's just the way that is, right? It's impressive item on your resume to be able to work here.
It's also, and Kristina, we'll let you filibuster after this, but there's also, it's in this direct kind of point between fast fashion, like like Uniqlo or like H&M.
Oh man, you're making my point.
All right,
I can't filibuster then.
And designer fashion is all I was gonna say. Kristina, I
want the only co-ed show that doesn't let the broad talk.
I don't think we're the only one, to be fair.
I know, definitely. I think it's more common than you think. But to be fair, I just don't get to talk about Oakland that much. So, anyway.
Well, and shout out to something we did. We have our third episode was on Sorry to Bother You, and we did.
It was meant to be about blind spotting, but it was kind of just me and Jason talking about Oakland, but whatever. It was like the third episode. Kind of some slack.
But Kristina, what are you thinking about?
Filibuster. Good. Well done, Stevie. Well done.
You should make that as your thing, Conan.
I was trying to think. I couldn't think of anything. So
mine is the whole about the nutritional shake because never mind. But with the fast fashion thing, like a lot of people are like, why do people shoplift, bougie, expensive clothes? I'm like, because they're better fucking quality. They're better quality. I'm like, like in a world where you could buy like a $2 dress from Shein, it's only gonna last for like one wear. Like, I don't blame people wanting to shoplift, expensive, high quality clothing. But also too, that comes off to the time where it's like there's like knockoffs and copycats, and that starts like a whole thing now, another whole discourse and debate as well. So it's like, I don't blame people when they shoplift. Like, who cares?
Right. And it's something that Boost Radley has been very, very upfront about, that like without actual boosters, he would not have been able to, put on the kind of shows that he wants to put on because he couldn't afford the crazy clothes. And by the way, how it's awesome to see places like by the way, all the places that they mentioned, like that, like they have like the stands with the knockoff stuff and like whatever. Where did this come from? Fell off a truck. Real, very real. Used to live in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's not just an Oakland thing. I mean, that's like any big city you'll find like
that's a thing like a lot of like mobsters would do. But like, all this fur coats and diamonds and expensive shoes, they fell off a truck and then they would sell it too and stuff.
But,
and I'm like,
but just like one of the characters in the movie, right? If you're trying to get back to school clothes for your kid, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna be spend your entire paycheck.
5 outfits is what you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That was, but I'm like,
they have the really great Atlanta episode. Not to keep shouting out Atlanta, but every time I see LaKeith Stanfield, I'm like, Atlanta. But where he's wearing the FUBU shirt and it turns out to be like Fubo or something, and it's
right, that's right.
Everyone's
that's solid. Yeah. We got a shirt from a band that says all shoplifters go to heaven. I take that to heart. Good.
But the thing about this movie, though, it's not. I mean, it's not obviously against the concept of boosting, but the thing that she needs, right? She's fully alienated from this because she is someone. She's literally living in a closed chicken restaurant.
Right, and everybody keeps getting hungry because they smell the chicken, which is a great
recurring bit. It's full of clothes, and it's like she's the definition of like fully alienated from the system. And by the end of it, they have like, I like that the LaKeith Stanfield character is representing like kind of the promise of like a romantic love, even though he sucks the soul out of your pussy. and as his magical power. But no, but
which is somehow a C plot. But anyway, yeah.
But no, but it's this thing where it's like the thing that's going to save you isn't romantic love because this person's a demon, but also just in general, what you need is this collective spirit where workers are rising up against the bosses and finding this collectivism that we have, rising above the self and rising above just romance, and that's what you need. That's the actual thing that's going to make you not lonely.
Well, and we all love movies with a great political message, but when the political message is like, we're going to beat you over the head with this, here it is, the political message, Day After Tomorrow, for instance, which I saw in the theater, by the way.
Oh boy.
It was like, all right, I get it.
What if we cracked the Arctic and brought on snow tornadoes in LA and
I think I saw it in a theater too.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
That was the one. That was.
I agree with all this, and this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good. But when you have something like this, that's so madcap and entertaining, and there's so much to focus on, and also features such great performances by a predominantly female cast, I might add.
Yeah.
We talked 1,000 years ago when we did the movie Nope. We talked about how great Keke Palmer is and how we can't wait for her to be given the leading lady treatment by some smart person.
Palmer. She's my age.
Oh yeah, okay. But I mean, she's fantastic, right? She's a standout in all the things she is, and she's super freaking good in this, man.
One of the things that she's been very good at is she's kind of built out her media empire a little bit. So she has her own podcast. She has her own so she was able to link her podcast with this movie and actually have the cast interviews that she gave at, I think it was TIFF, and she was able to host the interviews at TIFF as part of her podcast. Just I don't know, I just found that to be kind of fascinating.
I remember she did that one movie about the spelling bee, and I think Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett were in that. Yeah. And I remember she I think she did something with Angela Bassett again later on. They were talking about some of Angela Bassett's roles, and she was saying her lines as Katherine Jackson in the little Jackson Family miniseries. I'm like, oh, she knows it. She's great. I mean, there's sometimes she says something and I'm like, oh boy. But then I'm like,
but who doesn't? That makes her feel
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Seriously?
Is that what we're doing now? I mean, there's sometimes you two say things on this show that I'm like, oh boy. And I'm sure you feel the same about me. It's a lived life,
tame, and my show with Kristina, a more tame version of it. The version of it that's when I was with Ravana and Kenzo and we did our show. There were times where I was like, oh fuck, whatever I just said on this, I feel like someone's gonna hear it, because people were actually listening at that point, and I was like, and people were telling me oh, I've been listening to your show with Ravana, and I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
That's why when you have a podcast. But she's had people forget everyone's like, oh, she must be. I'm like, no, she's 30. She's one of the few more modern. She's been around child star who's grown up.
Sure, right, but the thing, for whatever reason, I feel like she hasn't been given you don't see her a lot as the lead for something. She was in One of Them Days with SZA last year. That I thought was freaking hilarious. And that movie, that movie was it was a 3-star core Letterboxd movie, where people immediately saw, pretty good, 3 stars, and I saw way after the hype, and I was and I think it was for one of the Film Independent screeners, and I was like, this is fucking hilarious. What's everyone's problem? And then I read all their reviews. I'm like, this is lazy. Were you guys every one of you just tired when you saw this? Because I laughed my ass off. And that was Lawrence Lamont directing that. And just really good. But it just reminded me, I'm like, why don't we see her as a lead in more films? I feel like, we see Sydney Sweeney in freaking everything. We see Zendaya in everything. It's the same 3 people. It's she's got such great natural charisma, and when she's given something like this that has a lot of weight and has a lot of depth,
and she has everything that people want. Everyone's like, oh, you want someone with the major social media following, their own empire. I'm like, Keke Palmer has everything that people look for now in movie stars.
I do think that there's something specific in also that I really like about black stars specifically, because they've been so shut out of the industry in the past. That's but they kind of have to build a lot of times their own kind of media empire, their own media kind of bully pulpit for themselves.
And it becomes
because no one's getting it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like now, obviously we have like, we have some really great directors, whether it's like Ryan Coogler, whether it's Bruce Riley, like whether it's, all like there's a bunch of directors that are like black directors that work with black cast. But like before that, when that was like, less of a thing, or before that, when you were kind of pushed into like a market, or, you're just stuck being in a bunch of Tyler Perry movies, which he didn't let anyone eat at his table. You know what I mean? Despite building his own empire, like there's kind of like a thing where you have to kind of build your own kind of really fascinating like media,
your own world around you, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's notable too because then there tends to be some sort of like solidarity amongst them. I mean, Naomi Ackie's amazing as well. Like, I mean, she's the the sort of like this almost.
You forget she's British.
I forget every freaking time. She was great in Mickey 17. I know everybody's disappointed in because it wasn't Parasite. Sorry Baby. She's amazing in Sorry Baby. Like, she's just consistently good. She's been in some of the small act stuff. Like, and everybody that's in this, Poppy Lou inclusive, it's like just kind of like, oh yeah, they're good. They're good. It's cool to see them like doing like something together. And like as an ensemble, and it's so well done. The only one I wasn't familiar with was the character, the organizer character, Violetta, the Gonzalez. I don't know. I've never seen her. Gonzalez. She was good.
She's been in a few stuff in the past. I'm surprised. I'm like, really? She. I think she was in Baby Driver.
Oh, I saw Baby Driver. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in Alita Battle Angel too, which is another movie apparently redacted from my memory.
She was in Three Body Problem, and I.
Oh shit! She was in Ambulance, which rules. Ambulance is completely unhinged
because of what Three Body Problem was. Well, maybe they were working on it before that. I don't know, but I was wondering like if Boots Riley had found her and cast her based on that.
Based on
Three Body Problem.
She was in that. Yeah, I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
So I've seen her and stuff, but I think I just didn't like. I don't know. She's got a much better role here. She's hitting the vape and like doing like the science explainer stuff. That's what you want for someone doing science explanation for your motif, for your crazy sci-fi concepts, right?
For people connecting with her character too, because it's like they're like,
yeah, man,
you like labor organizer that's just vaping, like
just hitting that vape.
Like, yeah, she
like
is
nothing, right?
The in her face and the vape. It's like she's full. Just that's exactly what every person working in retail that's like desperately trying to cling on.
Right, but then you also buy her as being like, oh well, she's very beautiful and very stately, so you would buy her like working in like that store, which is like a haute couture, like like this is like the thing. This is like the place that you want. If you have to work a retail job, it should be like somewhere high end and should But then like you get. And again, for the second movie in a row, you get someone that espousing labor rhetoric that would be like not what you would expect. I mean, you expect to see some guys like George Wendt or something like with a hard hat doing it. And it's like, yeah, but that's like an outmoded concept. That's not what a labor organization looks like in this era, in this age, which does happen. And but the fact that it's only like a 4th or 5th grade item. For not like as in 4th, 5th grade, like grade school, but I mean like gradation of like things to talk about with this movie, that's pretty low on the list, unless you probably are a labor organizer. Yeah. It's like, no, the messenger for this looks like what, again, this really happens in, clothing retail, especially on high end. You have to dress in the fashion and they deduct it from your paycheck. That's very real. And they took something that is a serious topic that should not be laughed at and played it up to the most absurd possible thing to great success. It works. Yeah. It really works, right?
And then connecting it across borders, across nations, really across the world, right? To the Poppy Lou character, being a sweat, like she's working, her family and her are all working in the sweatshop.
They're making it, and it's all sweatshop labor. Yeah,
which is, they're making the clothes that then go to Oakland in this case, like the Bay Area, to get sold to people as high end clothing. And it's like that's an even more alienated form of labor, and it's happening in a self-proclaimed at least communist country. Where they've just kind of sold out these basically capitalist zones to these kinds of people like Christy Smith in this movie that are just it's just full on labor exploitation. Of course, I don't know how I love the high techness of she's just able to look at her fucking sweatshop workers from a giant screen and be like, hey, get back to work. I'm not doing it. I'm not giving you guys a raise. Like,
right. Yeah. And it's
talk about surveillance state.
Yeah.
Well, and this is taking actual things that happen and playing it up for huge comedy, which is apparently harder to do than people think because nobody tries it. But then also, what you're doing is you're doing like the Mel Brooks thing. You're kidding on the square.
Yep.
Right. And like when you do that, and it's things that they don't want you mucking around with, then you kind of gotta like individually canvas people to watch a movie, I guess. Yeah, Violetta, she was great. I just don't know as an actress. I'm just not as familiar, right? Just for whatever reason. But then also, that's me. Yeah, whatever. I see a lot of movies. I see a lot of TV shows.
It does seem like she's kind of on the beginning, I guess, part of her career. Like she's not.
I think she's great. I mean, she's really good. And it turns out, she was in Ambulance. Ambulance is like maybe the best movie Michael Bay ever did. And but I say that it's objectively a 3-star movie, but it's one of the best movies Michael Bay. It's insane. Yeah. It is absolutely insane, and that's what I love about it. And she's in that, so it's like endless respect from me. But everybody's so well deployed here, and it's once again predominantly female cast.
So
have you even seen that in a big movie since? Oh my God, this is
not that wasn't
not this year.
Barbie?
Barbie, yeah, right. And they still nominated only the dude. They still went out of their way and only nominated.
It's so
Gosling.
funny because every show you see like a bot farming kind of like Ryan Gosling won the award. I'm like he won like the Critics' Choice for I'm Just Ken. That was it. He got nominated for an Oscar, but I'm like,
and not that he doesn't deserve it. I mean, I loved his role in that, but I'm like, really? You're gonna nominate the one dude, and that's
the one dude and the whole joke of the movie is just like he's
the
just
joke
there.
Of the movie. I mean, astounding. You can't write this stuff. Well, you can write this stuff. That's the point.
Wanted to I found this to be. I was watching this last night. I found this to be interesting. This is Eiza Gonzalez talking about just the working with Boots Riley and kind of how much she was able to like kind of come up with her own character on the fly. Like,
please pick a number.
Nice.
You said what's
1 to 49.
49. I love 1 to 49.
What's a creative choice in this movie that most audiences probably won't notice, but you're really proud of?
A lot of them, actually. I did.
I think
I did. I think a lot of them. I actually do feel very proud of the most of the choices that we did, because when we were building the character, Boots is like so cool. He'll be like, "You do your thing," and you're like, "Okay, but what's the thing?" You're like, okay, and it's hard when you don't audition sometimes, because I was like lucky enough, unlucky. Sometimes I feel like it's worse because then it sets like an expectation, and then you get to the set a bit more nervous if you didn't
do the thing.
And so I didn't really have a sense, but then I went to set, I have to say, and I watched them all making really bold, creative choices, and I was really inspired by them. And so then I started picking his brain, and I was like, I think she should be a stoner. He's like, yeah, that sounds like kind of cool. And I was like, yeah, and like kind of like a dark emo girl, because we were talking about it. I envisioned her as like, it was a perfect way to describe it, like someone who's deep in like Reddit, just in conspiracy theory things, and like smoking a joint, and like existentialist at its finest. And so I was like, let's do this. It's a big swing, and I hope it paid off. But I think it gave her an inner life.
Definitely did.
That allows you to believe that Violetta is this woman that believes in equality and rights, as those people that are like in a different dimension and living in a different reality, that the conformations of society that kind of allow themselves to think outside of the box. And that required a physical and a look expression of itself that aligned with that.
And?
14.
What's something that people always get wrong about?
Nice. Yeah, I mean, like I said, perfect delivery person for the sci-fi exposition, right? It just sounds like someone's been down too far on a YouTube rabbit hole and like reading up on Philip K. Dick or something.
Yeah, I mean,
I appreciate that.
I wish that more people that got really far down to YouTube.
I know. Wow.
When I truly organized my workplace.
Like that would be the conclusion. That's the like, better world aspect of it.
Sell you skin suits to
right.
To local Yimby. Oh, that's the last. Before we start the last thing I wanted to bring up is this, because you were talking about how Bay Area this is. the skin suit characters that are like the Yimby activists. There is nothing more fucking Bay Area than having like, and you see
Oh my God, I was dying.
Foreshadow.
Yeah.
I had it written down in my notes, but there's like it's like the foundational democracy think tank or whatever, and you see her. He's in a picture with Obama. Christy Smith and Obama, and then underneath it, and that's such a great thing. Like
it's
such
so
a great
good.
think name. And then you see these characters throughout the whole movie that are like, it's the guy that's like, it's not fair that I'm traumatized from going out on strike because I wanted the freedom of lower pay.
Yeah,
The lady that's
well,
like,
just like right, and it's a recurring theme. In the background, there are these news bits and bytes that are people that are talking about, well, actually rent control is bad because I should be allowed to pay more if I want to. Well, I'm just like, what? And it's played in this world where everything is so absurd that you're just like, all right, that's freaking nuts. It draws
classic, freedom of choice is what you want. Freedom of choice.
Right. Well, and it draws attention to how ridiculous the corporate propaganda is on these news stations of just look at the healthcare debate.
When you interview like these landlords, like I own 100 buildings, he wants rent control, and I'm like, yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, but rent control, right? Because it's in New York City, it's a small amount of buildings. In Oakland and in San Francisco, because it's the Bay Area, and because they kind of have these like now tech feudal landlord or feudal like oligarchs that like rule everything, right? Like something like rent control, the fight against it kind of starts there. I mean, everyone says everything starts in California and moves eastward, but there's the whole thing of that because all of these they had the entirety of like the Yimby movement started there. The whole concept.
Yeah. Well, and so it does the thing where it lights it up in a hilarious way, but it draws attention to the actual context of what is happening. That if you're curious about like, well, how much of that was like based in reality, then you can look it up and be like, oh man, more than I would have thought. That's crazy. I mean, obviously, no one's the skin suit thing, maybe less so, but again, it's so clever because in a way that is, and I'm sorry to keep picking on Day After Tomorrow, but it's one of the most heavy-handed movies I've ever seen in my entire life, and that's saying a lot. But like, the literal skin suits, right? But it's such great work that doesn't make it eating your vegetables.
Yeah, but I mean,
they
tie it back in such a great way where it's it's online. It's these bot farms online where it's fake people. And all of these accounts, they run these fake people and it's the same thing with these characters where it's like I'm upstanding.
I'm doing this today. What's he say? Like one day I did 5 different people or whatever.
It's the most base version of it, but it's like I'm an upstanding citizen. I'm a concerned black mother. I'm.
But do you understand what I'm saying, Rex? I'm going to reiterate the point because it feels like okay.
I get what you're saying. I just think there's that added kind of a metaphorical dimension to that where it's like we live in this time where your online presence is projected outwards, and it almost is like wearing a skin suit in this weird way.
And then they're wearing literal skin suits, and it's like, of course that's and it's all like Ray Harryhausen stop motion animation instead of CGI, which is so kick ass. I mean, it's just
he doesn't use CGI at all.
He does not use CGI. Yeah. It's Ray Harryhausen style. It's stop motion. That's what I'm saying, and then like that's so freaking awesome, and it's so great because it's like, and again. People can sit here and whine about, I was overwhelmed. I'm like, what did you think you were going to see, though? Like, what did you think this was going to be? I couldn't handle this movie. Yeah, I mean, like you were overwhelmed. I mean, all right, what is freaking? I don't even know how to respond to that.
I will say going in there as like someone that does get really overstimulated. I enjoyed the movie, but then in the car, my mom kept trying to talk about it, and I was like, dude, I'm completely overstimulated right now.
Yeah, there's a lot to grind on. I felt like started to bother you the same way, where, there was things. Good value, 100,000. Yeah,
she even makes those employees pay for their 100,000,
which is great because that's a reiteration of the bit, right? Of like, no, even like the people with the skin, like it's so badass. Like it's and that if a major studio is involved, they're like, why is she making them pay for the skin? I'd be like, because that's the freaking punchline, man. That's the second stage.
It's also
You know?
it's a reference also to Silence of the Lambs, which
sure, yeah.
The Buffalo Bill skin suit.
Yeah, never heard of it. Definitely didn't write a record about it.
I feel like Bay Area Silence of the Lambs is like this is Conan.
I know. I was gonna say, is there any reason I couldn't stop freaking talking about this movie? Right? It's like, how is this not going to be a 5-star for me? You know. But it's yeah. We should start the plot summary because we're almost an hour in. But I mean, it's such a good time of a movie that the heavy-handed.
Yet.
What's that?
We haven't gotten to the plot summary yet.
Yeah, we're going to. The heavy-handedness. There's no heavy-handedness to it, right? And because again, there are movies where it's like, yes, I agree with all of this. I don't really need to see this right now. This is not fun. This is a fun movie. And
the heavy-handedness is like whatever is there, right? Or the fact that it's kind of really just kind of hitting you on the head with some of the points. It's like commented on by the fact that there's the situational accelerator, and the entire movie is like
it's meta commentary.
Yeah, all of these criticisms, all the criticisms I've seen of this movie from people are all addressed by meta commentary in the movie.
Right, which is it's so great, and it's. Like in the way that, like, all right, everyone thinks post-apocalypse is going to be like, you know, Mad Max movies, but they're going to be like Max. And it's like, no, it's more like The Road. You know, that's what it would be more like. And is that a fun movie? No, it is not. And we will never cover it in the show, at least not with me around, that's for sure, because there ain't nothing to say, you know. But it's probably closer to what reality would be. Anyway, let's please give a plot summary.
In the San Francisco Bay Area, Corvette, Mariah, and Sadie, known collectively as the Velvet Gang, regularly shoplift from Metro Designers fashion chain run by designer Christy Smith. They sell the clothes they steal at a discount to make ends meet. Christy regularly appears in the media discussing her vision of fashion as transformative art. In one appearance, she lambasts the Velvet Gang as low-class urban bitches.
Okay, Demi Moore. Slow down.
Well, but it's
first you defend AI, now this.
Yeah, that was unfortunate timing, but yeah, but I think it's something where it's notable that because the Keke Palmer character, you know, while being resentful of her using her station and wealth in the way that she does, admires the talent of at this time of like, well, she does do great things with art though, and it's kind of splitting the difference in her mind, while the same token, and also it should be noted, every time that they knock over a place, they use different outfits too, which is great.
Yeah,
I mean that's a great.
The Keke Palmer.
More heist movies should do that, by the way.
The Keke Palmer character, and I know I'm not. This is gonna be my one aside, I guess. The Keke Palmer character is the one person in the movie who really appreciates the art more than more than her like finance capital or her position in anything or her relation to her employees. She's the one person that's like, she's kind of like, while I'm stealing from her, while I'm boosting from her store, she's also my hero. It's like, wow, Christy Smith noticed us.
Right, exactly. It provides more nuance. And now is not the time for nuance. I love that line, by the way. It provides more nuance than you otherwise might get for a more simplistic movie, right? Where it's not just like slobs versus snobs or poor people versus rich people or what have you.
The other thing, by the way, that I saw pointed out a bunch, well, not a bunch, actually, I think only like one person pointed out, a lot of the names in these movies are like famous black pop stars. Mariah.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that.
He did that. He was like, I don't know. I saw someone on.
How about Corvette?
No, not Corvette. But
yeah.
What about the Prince
Mariah.
song? Little Red Corvette.
Okay. Oh, Little Red Corvette. Okay. Sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
I don't know.
Well, I'm just so he was like, I don't know. He like took that and he was like, no one else has noticed this, and I was like, damn, I wish I was that lady. Getting told that no one else has noticed my thing. Although I did say the thing about the green door and the olive door, and he retweeted that. So I guess that's or reposted that.
There you go.
Boots Riley, there's still time for you to come on the show.
Come on the show, man. We did Occupy stuff together. Come on the show. We're not strangers.
Well, we're hats. Oh man, we didn't think
an aspiring fashion designer and an admirer of Christie's work sneaks into Christie's office inside of a coffee cart. And over here is Christie mentioned $100,000 suits.
Okay, pause on that. I guess we're not going to mention the fact that the building is like at a 45-degree angle. You know, I mean, that's pretty wild. We talked about that earlier. Yeah. Get your shit together, Wikipedia.
Now's the time to have everything happening in the plot summary, right?
Right. But like the physical comedy of it all, You know, the fact that she's just very blasé about it, and like, you know, they're trying to just get up to the, you know, it's great, and
it also
it's somewhat
the characterization of someone who's willing to inconvenience themselves to a hilarious degree in order to feel like they're dominating other people.
Yes, right, exactly, and it's a slight redo of a bit in I'm a Virgo, but like it's to great effect, and more directly referencing that one building that's like right by the Bay Bridge, which is hilarious to me because
his next movie is just gonna be that one building, and it's gonna be.
Well, I mean, you can like put a ball on the ground in that building, and it will like roll towards the other way. So I mean, it's like it's not a secret, you know, and it looks like crap. Anyway,
I just like the idea of him centering that building a little bit more in each thing. So it's like the next movie is like the whole thing.
Right, that's like it's the main character. It's the people in that building working or whatever. Yeah, sure.
While trying to sneak out, she is spotted by Christy. She provides a false name. Her false name, Crevassier. It's
so good.
It's a mix between Crevassier and like something else. It's like Crevassiana or something. She's
right.
Yeah. The rest of the movie, she's like, I know it's that Crevassiana.
Again, great bit because the for her many faults, the character, the Demi Moore character, always makes sure to like remember everybody's name and use it as often as possible, which is definitely a CEO thing. Which is like, sometimes it's really annoying.
And the whole thing, she has her and they have the dialogue in this, which I really like, where it's her tips for like, you know, her tips as a CEO. Like, so she has her book where it's like, oh, how like her girl boss book or whatever. And then the only person who's able to actually say a tip from her book back to her is Corvette, which is this thing again where it's like the person stealing from your store, the person stealing from your store is kind of your biggest fan. At the same time, she's the one that stole the design from Corvette. So it's like they've stolen from each other throughout the course of this, and it's kind of created this endless loop.
Yeah, it's like a Mobius strip or something, right?
Yeah, it's a situational accelerator. I love that. I love that phrase so much.
Yeah.
Corvette repeatedly encounters a mysterious man with a pinky ring. That's one way to, I guess, put it. Sadie relates the story of a friend who hooked up with a man who turned into a demon and sucked out her soul while eating her pussy. I added that. That's not.
I guess worst ways to go.
It can happen. You never know. Now
that happened to my cousin.
People now could be like, you know, if Gen Z has a reason to be very much against, you know, sex that seems not so vanilla, like pussy eating, well, there you go. That can happen.
Real, though? I feel like there's just a few people that like are very online that are.
Yeah.
No, it's becoming a thing.
I think it started with the media reporting that the rates of sex in younger people are down, and then people kind of just jumped on that and kind of.
We gotta bring back teen pregnancy is what we need to do.
Became the meme they wish to see in the world.
Yeah,
but it's so just to talk about like
pussy eating. Oh,
just to talk about the like.
That's his actual wife too, by the way. LaKeith Stanfield's wife.
That's one way to suck someone's soul from their body. Usually, it's mouth.
That's interesting because he had a thing. I didn't get to watch it. There's a lot of like interview clips that I didn't get to watch because they've been just doing
500 of them. I know. I saw one while I was cleaning a house. I was like, "Boots, Riley, that you?" Yep.
I don't know.
There was one where he had to ask his wife's permission to do that scene, and I think that must be why they hired her to.
Yeah, because that was
as long as you're eating my pussy.
That's his actual wife is in the scene, which I think is great. However that got there, I don't know the answer, but like I was like, oh, that's really that's awesome. By the way, I had a couple in my theater showing. I had a couple older black ladies right behind me. They were hooting and hollering.
Oh my
during this, it was awesome. Me too, but like I was like, oh, that's awesome.
I had a group of kind of like younger black kids, but they all had like large afros, and I had to keep moving seats because I just couldn't see over the afros.
That's like a bit for the movie.
But there was just more and more like guys, and they all kind of had the same kind of look. The women that they were with were really like tiny, and then they had these huge afros. And every time I'm like, come on, I can't get the tiny woman sitting in front of me. I can't fucking see the screen.
I'm telling you, as a white person, there was no better experience than being with a black audience watching a predominantly black movie. It's the best. It's the best experience. I swear to God.
Especially one of the ones that like really connect to something like funny in the
It's all like with Us. Oh my God, Us. I always say that whole like scene with the white couple getting slaughtered to fuck the police. Everyone just
What hits
crappy. Or
totally
even
different.
fucking
When Alex Jones got slaughtered to
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
It's
and
like, it's so
I'm
good. I
coming
love it.
coming from Oakland, like, it's very much like I even lived in like, the most mixed of the mixed neighborhoods in like one of the most like multi-ethnic cities in the country. I was just that was just seeing a movie, and then now it's like, oh yeah, it has to, I don't even know like what it would be, but it would have to be like something that's like black cinema for there to be like any, except for like superhero stuff. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, when I go like
That's a bummer.
my local theater, I feel like it's like a lot of the times it's like random ass like
some
kids.
loud laughing
When
too.
I go
That's
to
the
the
other
mall,
reason.
when I go to the mall, pretty much, and it's like a movie, like a Jordan Peele movie or something. It's always like a
Yeah.
largely black audience, and I'm like, hell yeah. It was also it was crazy seeing
Sinners like had a great a great turnout, but like
it was crazy seeing Begonia in a movie of like extremely white, like Woodstock style like
older folks
kind of people.
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder how they're gonna react. Because I was just there and Stav came on the screen. I was like Stav. I was like, and then I started laughing. Everyone kind of looked at me weird, and I was like, Stav.
Well, and I mean, and it's there's a larger argument to be made about just comedies in general and movies and the community
and the ability to
like seeing
transcend.
Seeing something like The Naked Gun in the theater, I think is way better.
Yeah.
Or Sausage Party, particularly the ending that very much traumatized the entire audience.
Anyway, let's
So the Velvet Gang gets jobs at Metro Designer Store. It's hilarious. They hire all of her friends. They're like, we need more people to work here.
Yeah,
so they hire her three friends. Corvette realizes one of Chrissy's new items is identical to one of her designs. Just pausing on that, the interaction between her and Will Poulter, where she's kind of, you can feel like she's kind of a natural for this world, which is why it's kind of so devastating that she's kind of stuck being essentially homeless like throughout this. And it's like she's such a she's already so talented. So she says the thing like, whenever I'm in here, I just want to grab everything because it's mine anyway. But she says it in this way, and then Will Poulter's just like staring at her, and he's like, that is such a great way to put it.
It's such a great answer. Yeah, but he's genuinely impressed by her because she's genuinely impressive. It's just like it's cover for theft, but
Didn't Jack Harlow do like a Letterboxd review just only highlighting him? I'm like, of course, you're gonna highlight the guy who has like a 5-minute cameo in the movie.
And people have already kind of turned on him as like a white rapper. So
of course. Let me do it like Eminem.
I was going to ask who that was, and then you said that, and it became clear to me.
People are like, of course, the white rapper points to the one white guy in the movie and says, great job, bro. You a legend.
I'll see him at the next meeting and tell him that was a bad move.
The next
you're a white rapper. What's your rapper name?
Yeah.
Oh, you're part of the white rapper union too?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we unionized.
Before the gang can just don't tell the black rappers because they're gonna unionize too, and then
Drake.
Drake sneaks into the union hall.
Oh man.
No, sorry, Aubrey Graham is his real name, and that's what I call him. Okay, he don't like
before the gang
Friend of the show.
Connect the heist. Actually, our direct rival. We're 1-to-1 with Drake's podcast. No, before the gang can enact their heist, their store is cleared out by someone else. Surveillance footage shows a woman a lot of sucking in this movie, sucking all the merchandise into the bag.
Great, great that you first see it on security camera footage, and you're like, what?
What is happening?
And there's it's such a great also use of the hi, hey, ho, hey, hi, hey, ho. You see her on the security footage just as they and they also have the best Will Poulter line when he gets on the ground and he's on his knees and he's like, it's not even yellow in here anymore.
Oh yeah, because he's calling them inside for one of these dumbass middle manager. Oh, all right, everybody get together. We're gonna oh Christ, what now? Meetings, and then you come out and the store's just empty. And that's such a great, because the first thing I was thinking, it'll be funny if somebody stole some stuff while they were in there, and then it was like, oh, they stole everything. Yeah, that's way funnier.
He's that hilarious type of middle management too, where it's you could tell it's someone that just got promoted to middle management, so they're not only they're not even a long-standing employee, they're like a tyrant. They're a newfound tyrant, which is the worst kind.
Right, but it's your petty despot, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The gang track her down and capture her. And they kidnap her and throw her in the car. The woman, John Hu, reveals that she is a teleporter and is a worker at a Metro Designs factory in China. This is the moment where a worse director, it would have been like, okay, this is where it jumps the shark, and it does not.
Right.
But like a worse director, you could see, or like someone that wasn't actually making a point with their film, you could see it being like, oh, now there's a teleporter involved in this too.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be on dangerous ground at least, right? You'd be like, I don't know about this. Yeah.
And yet, this is where the movie gets good.
Yeah.
Due to the factory's poor working conditions, Jean-Hu's aunt died, and her mother has developed cancer from doing the denim. With her cousin, she discovered that the facility acquired teleporters to save on shipping costs.
It's treating the denim. I love that. That's like the thing, because that's such a grounded thing. And obviously, the delivery of why she's there is such a fantastical scenario. But that is such a like. Do people even think about that? Probably not, unless you like work in like textiles or somewhere.
Well, I mean, there's been accidents in the past, because like in America with unions or like like the radium girls or whatever, like people don't realize that for many decades, there was a lot of working conditions that were just so poor. It's like, how the fuck did they not think to have any type of like regulations or whatever,
Sure, black lung.
But we see, but with sweatshops, with stuff being, jobs being shipped over to China, where you're working like 18-hour plus days, it's the norm, and unfortunately,
thank you NAFTA and all everything after that, where it's like, oh no, it's just all you gotta do is make it as cheap as you can. Like,
and the way that the geopolitical, both the geopolitical
labor standards,
rivalry,
never heard of her.
The way the geopolitical rivalry between America and China, but also just the way that kind of NAFTA and everything is played out, it's always pitting American workers against Chinese workers, or American workers against foreign workers,
which goes back to the I'm George Wendt. I almost said Pete Wentz, which would have been an entirely different labor organizer. That is like when we think of the hard hat and the sort of like. Labor organization, but don't worry, there's a little racism there as well. Where it's like, it's an us versus them, whereas really it should be, workers united.
Yeah. I love that the facility, like
Pete Wentz, noted labor organizer.
I was about to say.
I love that the whole thing of the teleporters. The only thing that Christy Smith knows about the teleporters, she steals them from the Chinese government, who are using them as a situational accelerator, and they have all these other functions that are really cool. But she only knows it as a teleporter, and it's to save on shipping costs.
Yeah,
I love that so much, and I love it because it's like using a time machine to make sure that you don't miss your morning meeting or something. Where it's like, what? Yeah. That's what you're using this for? But like, it's something that's so seems less and less absurd as just casual AI gets pushed into every aspect of our life at every moment, at every minute of every day, despite the fact that nobody wants it. Well, it used to be you watch T2 and you're like, yeah, but that wouldn't happen though. It's like, no, I guess it would. F me, I guess. I guess I gave humanity way too much credit.
And there's all these think pieces like, are we treating the AI too badly? And it's like, well, if you really thought that, you would stop. Like,
yeah, I mean, I appreciate that Charles Booker just stopped doing Black Mirror. It's like, look, reality is like just as scary as what we're doing on the show at this point. Like, I can't keep up. I'm like, woof. Anyway, have a great night, everybody.
The facility acquired teleporters to save on shipping costs. They stole the devices, and Jean-Hu is teleporting Metro Designers merchandise back to China to gain leverage and demanding better pay and working conditions for the factory workers. The Velvet Gang and Jean-Hu team up.
Yeah, worker solidarity. Let's go.
Well, and then we start seeing the fact that there's a reason and rationale for this beyond just the boosterism of it all, right? Like the short-term goal. Like there's like a larger social justice aspect of it. Thank you. Yeah. You can go back to Black Mirror talk if you want, but that's what I got.
All right, why does it gotta be a Black Mirror? Out. It is so loud. I'm like, I can barely hear you guys. It's so loud.
All right, why don't you take us to the next one?
I can't hear it. I thought maybe loud enough that I could hear it through the screen.
Yeah, I go next.
Yeah, go ahead, Kristina.
Okay. So the gang's former coworker Violetta tries to convince them to help her fight the poor working conditions at Metro Designers, but they decline.
That's how do you say her name? Eiza?
I think it's Eiza Gonzalez.
Okay,
I think
it's kind of sad that they do decline though.
Well, yeah. At
first. Well, I mean, because they're not thinking about things long term.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So with Viola's help, they discover that the teleport devices have 2 other settings based on dialectical materialism. The situation accelerator, which heightens the conflicts inherent in whatever it is pointing at. And a deconstruction setting, which takes apart whatever it is pointing at into the element that made it. That's like
Dude, when I heard that like the machine is based on the historical specificity of dialectical materialism, I did the Leo pointing thing at the screen.
Yeah.
Talking about the rain being loud. I was so loud in the theater going, amazing. Because first of all, and to be clear, I want to say her name right because she does such a good job, but like again, it's coming at it with that stoner cadence. Yeah. But then also explaining the actual thing what it is. And I'm like, this is perfect. And the fact that that's being used as like the MacGuffin for what this device is, that like means that people have to go up and look up what dialectical materialism is on the internet later on after they get home or whatever.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like, just a masterclass in how to do it. And then also, because it would have been fine if it was just a teleporter. It would have been like, that's a great conceit. They're going to have this big get-together labor thing. They'll use the teleporter to defeat her, blah, blah, blah. No. It goes harder than that. And it goes deeper than it needs to.
So many centuries of like Marxist theory that goes into like the concept of deconstructing things down to their like original material element, and then the heightening the contradictions, which is the 1960s. The only way to push capitalism over the edge is to heighten the contradictions so much that it has to come to a head. So it's like that's 1 century of ideas right there.
It's so good. She's so good at doing it. And again, just the perfect delivery person for it. Her character's awesome. She is awesome. I'm definitely taking notice of whatever she does in the future from here forward. And it's like one of those things that when you first see her, you're like, oh, whatever, some hot broad at the store, like whatever. And then it's like, oh no, she's like the one that has the answers.
It also reminded me of like there's different things like the Captain Planet kind of thing, or like Josie and the Pussycat, like those kind of things where it's like sometimes they'd have like an actual like lesson that they'd be teaching inside of this right almost because of the way that they're dressed. They're all in like these, they're all ready to go, and they're all in like these almost like a Josie and the Pussycat kind of costumed up, right? Like so they're kind of like, it feels like they're like these almost time travel, space traveling girls that are like fighting a lesson. It's like, let's do this dialectical materialism. And
but exactly, but that's what they're talking, which is just like, I mean, it's kind of like taking that Philip K. Dickian thing to somewhere different than. Like, did he even like, I like the Gore Verbinski movie that came out earlier this year. Like, I apparently seem to be the only one, but I really like, I'm a sucker for like a good sci-fi movie, but I thought it was interesting if a little bit too much phone bad but like it wasn't just phone bad, and that's kind of what I think people missed on it. But like, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die did the sci-fi thing. This is Boots Riley like doing something that pretty much only he could do right now. Is there anyone else that would like think of this? I don't know. Probably not, right?
It was fun to see Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die in the theater.
I thought it was really good. It was like the most Gilliam-esque movie I've seen in a while that wasn't. But it's also, but I get the complaints too, and I think it kind of, ultimately it was like, I think like a solid B- movie, right? And part of it's because it's like, you'd like a fun time. Oh, that's what Trump said to his son about his wedding. Hey,
maybe that's why he had that another stage assassination attempt to avoid going to Don Jr.'s wedding.
So as far as again, and you have, because there has to be like the conceit. There has to be the conceit of like, all right, here's we're explaining the technology, we're explaining the scenario, so on and so on. Just very clever, very clever. I'm not going to belabor the point. Very clever and very much in such a way that the curious are now suddenly they saw this ridiculous complimentary fantasy sci-fi movie, and they're looking up dialectical materialism when they get back to their house or on their phone on the way out. I don't know what they're up to, but they're looking up Hegel, right? Great.
So after deconstructing some Metro designer's clothes, John Woo sees that a cut on her hand has healed, as the cost of her labor has been returned back to her body. that
meaningful.
Like I was like,
no, it's like it's the extraction of labor, right? Like the extraction of labor has a toll. It's like that quote that I always say where it's like,
do you get rewarded for all the hard work you do? No, okay.
No, it's that line that I always say that I've never read Marx's Capital, but I have the marks of capital all over my body.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
So the Velvet Gang and John Who infiltrate a Metro Designer fashion show with the help of the Pinky Ring Man. I love that he's called that. And use the devices to deconstruct the clothes. They find a room where the $100,000 suits are, where the suits are worn by prominent media figures who they order to remove the suits. The people take their clothes off, but also remove their skin.
I can say we're blasting past a lot of stuff, a lot of plot here, but yes, those are things that happen.
Yes. That's the best way to summarize because it's like one of those moments where you're like, huh?
Yeah, where it's like, all right, yeah, it's gonna be like 50 pages.
But once they got the we're using our avatars to change the perception of reality itself, I was like, all right, I get what they're going with.
Yeah, right.
But throughout the whole, you have this you have, and it didn't really get to it inside of the summary. There's this Dr. Jack character who's promising it's false consciousness. It's that concept where it's like
false consciousness and a pyramid scheme, a literal pyramid scheme.
Yeah, and then everyone somehow is involved in this pyramid scheme.
And it's a great running gag that even like the demon guy is like, oh, I got this. It's like, this guy too, Great.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's multiple levels in the same thing because it's like that is kind of in this place of capital, right? Like in this world where we're kind of we're stuck and we're alienated from each other. Like one of the ways that like all of like these things kind of sneak in is like something like a pyramid scheme where it's like, okay, the reason that you're involved in a pyramid scheme is like at least you're with other people in that moment, and it's like at least that gives you a reason to talk to other people, that gives you a reason to spend time with other people, and that is false consciousness. It's like, oh, you get some kind of level at the top, and obviously everyone that you end up trying to hit up ends up hating you because you kind of scam them out of a bunch of money. But it's like that is like a really sad fact.
Yeah, I mean it's well done. Again, great repeated gag. Like I was sort of like, how is this demon stuff gonna like fit in with the rest of the story? And it does in its weird way. Like probably more so than the horse dick stuff. And sorry to bother you. Sorry, spoiler alert, everybody, for a movie that's at least 10 years old. Horse dick. Thank you.
He's like, by the way, like the other great thing about becoming an Equisapien, you'll have a horse cock. It's like you get
Jack Horsecock, right?
Right, that's right. Yeah.
So the $100,000 suits are skin suits designed by Christie for them to wear for propaganda purposes. The Velvet Gang flees the scene, escaping from both the police and the skinless people.
Ray Harryhausen style stop motion too, not CGI.
Yeah,
which is it's again, it turns something that like that would have been like, oh god, if it was like just some gormless CGI that for some reason like it looks like worse than something from the Sci-Fi Channel in the 90s.
Yeah. But we're at a point where it's like even CGI, right? Like AI is kind of gonna take that role, and then it's like, oh god, I wish it was CGI. You know what I mean?
We're nostalgic for that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, we had it good. But yeah, it's cool, man. This is a crazy conceit because there's like a there's like a chase scene that involves both police and skinless people.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, you thought this movie was going hard before? Hold my beer. Great.
I do get there's like the one of the things that like multiple people that I've talked to about the movie, they're like, oh well, it's like a little bit overstuffed, and I do think the chase scene going on for as long as it does is what they're talking about in this because it's like that chase scene does go on for a good like 25 minutes.
Yeah. So they and they use the situational accelerator on the cop car. It becomes like a super militarized cop car, and that's Eric Andre gets to ham it up there with a little bit. That's good. Yeah,
he gets to do the Clockwork Orange where he's like, hit him like New York Blockos.
Yeah. Like it's. I mean,
I was like, oh shit, I know that.
And that's great. The fact that this will happen in the fashion show, which is happening in San Francisco, gets to take advantage of the great angles of the hills of San Francisco, which again hilarious. We just talked about Vertigo not that long ago because like that features large as well. But this is, I pay very close attention when anything Bay Area is in movies. Haven't seen this exact thing before. I mean, I don't know how you would have, but like, I mean, this type of, when I say this exact thing, I don't mean like, the skinless bodies. I'm talking about the car chase, multiple, now they're going, they're towards each other. Like, there's a lot of elements that are happening with this. It all works really well. It's very exciting. It's ridiculous, but like, there are actual stakes here. Just the idea of like, the situational accelerator on a cop car, it becomes like a super militarized vehicle. It's like, that's again a hard truth, because that's where every police force is going towards now.
Yeah. Well, there's also just like a they still don't really know how everything on that machine works too. So it's like, it's interesting to see them point the situational accelerator and like accidentally get into like material deconstruction mode. So it's like, like they have the thing where they accidentally shoot it at the door and the door becomes like a giant tree. Because it's like what the door was.
Right, because that's what the door was before. Yeah, great. Yeah. That's awesome. That's good stuff. So Corvette and Sade argue, as Corvette wants to destroy the $100,000 suits, and Sade wants to sell them to guarantee her children's future. Corvette agrees to sell them, sending Sade away with the suits as she uses the device to move between China and the U.S. Again, great teleporter chase scene. She's running from the authorities in both settings, and like, just using the conceits that are set up earlier on to such great effect that, you'll have like sideways, like, coming out of the teleporter and like knocking dudes out because like, they were like looking over the lip and things along those lines. Just real, either like high person logic or, a bunch of like junior high schoolers hanging around having a good time, but like used to great effect.
But like giving you the cross borders, right? Like she's literally using this like borders with this teleporter device. Essentially, borders no longer exist, and it's like that is the way that the rich already are kind of living. But it gives like kind of a poor person a chance to go over borders and see this entire production process from start to finish, and the destruction that it wages on the soul, the mind, the body, the heart.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And so, factory employees band together to protect Corvette and John Yu's cousin. Great. We get our Matewan kind of labor moment, just to like have that echoed a little bit that would maybe be like the whole point of a lesser movie that decides to go
which is basically a point that Boots Riley made. I was watching him talk about like how class consciousness and class conflict is something that we experience every day, and yet it's been written out of films completely. And he's like,
we don't see it,
like Madawan or whatever, like something like that. Like that's the only time that you really see something like that. But it's like he was trying to create something that's more. I mean, because that's obviously a movie that takes place like the 1920s. It's a period piece, so it's like he's trying to create something that's present day that really speaks to people in that sense. So
when we see the same problems, right? We see the same problem, trying to divide by like race instead of class, and so on and so on. Culture, the exact same thing. Like putting forward, like, well, you'll get this in company's script, and what is company's script if not like having to like buy your own tools you're paying back into the company, so on and so on. Like it's all the same stuff, but it rarely gets updated because you don't see anything that centers labor at all ever for any reason. And so we have the factory employees banding together to protect Corvette, and that's great. Meanwhile, Velvet Gang reunites back at the fashion show, where Violetta has staged a small protest. They then use the devices on the skipping some stuff here. Use the devices on. There's a lot of monologuing that happens around here. That's all very good. They use the devices on the situational accelerator setting to amplify the protests at both the show, turning and the factory into strikes. So
nice.
That is the end state, right? Makes sense. I feel like it was like it's the first thing I thought of. Like when I thought, I bet there's gonna be striking at the end.
It's like such a the production design of it is so good because they're at the factory show, which she obviously forces her employees. It's not only using their time, and their bodies. She's forcing her employees to like come after hours to watch her show to show them the transformative art that they're selling and try to
even their like off hours they're expected to attend, right? Like that, and that's again
they're not paying them to be there.
Happens. The other thing that happens that absolutely does happen.
But the production design of it, where it's like the two sets of employees are on either side of the lines, and then she's in the middle of it, and they have to point the situational accelerator at her on the runway floor while the employees, so that situationally accelerating the two sets of employees that are on diametrically opposed sides of this runway, and then hitting the entire thing with the situational accelerator and turning them all into trees. Just kidding.
Right.
Trees.
It's a heady concept, right? Yeah, so they're all striking. A news report details that the strikes have spread across the world and the workers have made significant gains.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be nice, right? That's the way. Leave it on a high note. Sure, right. Jenny finds that by deconstructing the clothes with the device, her mother's cancer has reversed as well, which makes sense. In the logic of the movie makes sense. The man with the pinky ring admits to being a soul-sucking demon, but asks Corvette to be with him anyway, saying that true love will turn him into a human.
I do not believe that.
Beauty and the Beast.
She's like, oh, so I promise you, true love will turn me into a human, and we don't have to have. I don't have to give you oral sex.
And she declines to enter a relationship where she cannot receive oral sex.
I don't. You know what? I don't blame her.
Huge laugh line in my theater, by the way. Like, I mean, myself inclusive, but none louder than the two older black ladies right behind me. They know. They know.
But also too, I'm like, out of all the foreplay you could get rid of, you can't get rid of pussy.
You're like behind them. A soul sucking demon.
Crucial.
My ex-husband.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That is crucial. That is part of the whole. No, I ain't giving that up.
So there you go. The Velvet Gang opened a community center selling affordable clothes. I love boosters.
So so somehow Boots Riley saw this too, but I had the one thing that like the biggest complaint that I had about Sorry to Bother You is that the end is kind of anticlimactic. Like they like kind of very quickly win their strike, and then it's like nothing really changes. They're just back in the like, which is it makes sense in the sense of like labor organizing. Like you win a strike and then you're just back at work the next day. But in a movie, you're like, I wanted something more, and I feel like this movie goes a long way to providing something. Just with this a few minutes of like labor strikes everywhere, people are changing their economic systems. It makes it feel more triumphalist, I guess, which is not something that necessarily is something people experience very often in life. But in a movie, you want something. You want to feel like things are changing. It's open ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously liked it. We're talking about it now, right? You never know.
Really?
We took a gamble on Materialist that didn't work out quite as well as we thought, but I felt better with this one. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I set that up well, didn't I?
From this to this, perfect, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're very similar movies.
From materialist to dialectical materialism. Why not? Yeah. We do it all. What else you want? What other movie show's gonna do that?
We'll handle anything that says material in it. It's like
he's it's got material.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
The Madonna movie, Material Girl.
She hates that label too.
I want to hit Madonna with the deconstructor.
We'll do it. You know what we'll do? Well, we cover it detail. We'll bring her on and talk about Eva Perón's fascism.
No, I want to hit Madonna with the deconstructor because you see Madonna and then you just see a bunch of plastic
on her face. I know.
Separated because I hit her with the deconstructor.
We were doing so well. All right. So Letterboxd, of course, is a social media site for film lovers to talk with and to each other about the movies they love, maybe the movies that they didn't love, maybe movies that they just felt were so overwhelming. Okay. And
my
of course, this is
started acting up.
Of course, this is a bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to have their say, not just the Siskel's and Eberts of the world. Everyone gets to chime and opine about the movies, which, of course, is best expressed succinctly. You keep it tight. You keep it short. That's what the purposes of this bit that is done weekly is. That's what this is. These are Letterboxd one-liners for I Love Boosters. Hot off the presses. Let's roll them, baby. Incredible day for Latinos with septum rings who vape.
Yeah, that's a very specific demographic.
I just assume that was every day is an incredible day for no string Latinos who vape.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Stroke of genius to have all this movie's sci-fi exposition be delivered by a stony Eiza Gonzalez. Probably be funnier if I didn't mention it like 15 times during the course of the show, but yes, absolutely was.
Well, and there's a scene that that Boots Riley was very like you got to stay for the post-credit scene, and the post-credit scene she's just continuing to explain dialectical materialism. She's like, so dialectical materialism.
Right. It's good. But by the way, I tell you this though, put her on my radar. I'll check out whatever she's into next. You know,
the post credit scene too. It's Boots Riley's own kind of spin on the concept, because it's in that spiral where it keeps going and going, where you're heightening the contradictions forever, and instead of kind of ending up at a place, it just is like this forever spiral. And so like people are like, oh, so Boots Riley's kind of putting his own spin on these theories now.
I mean, it makes, if you think about, if you know anything about that guy, you know, and like, I'm not saying everybody needs to, but it makes sense, right? If you stop and think about it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, it's just funny to imagine him going, okay, we need to do this post credit scene. I'm just gonna hand you this, just read this.
Just read this. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, that's great. It's a good time. Anti-capitalist and pro-pussy eating? When Martin Scorsese was talking about absolute cinema, this is actually what he meant.
Yes.
I'm anti-capitalist and pro-pussy eating, and I vote.
That's right.
Forrest, have you tweeted that out yet?
At the Academy, you can if you want to tweet it, you can steal it.
They didn't use any VFX or camera tricks with LaKeith Stanfield. That's just what happens when you talk to him. Is that arresting?
He was in something. He was in a different movie. I forget what movie he was in, but I guess he had like the similar kind of characterization in like another recent movie he was in. But he's crazy with the kind of straight hair, the straightened like it's just such a different role than Cassius Green.
Nice. No more sucking souls out of pussies. Sad face.
I guarantee you, he would not have transformed into a human. He was lying about that.
Yeah, he was really hoping, you know.
I've been on this earth for thousands of years. Yo, you gotta replace him with Kevin O'Leary in Marty Supreme. Where he's
oh my God! Nobody's letting anyone near that pussy when that guy's around. Are you kidding me? Come on! I'm surprised Gwyneth was, except for the money. Come on, out of here. Get out of here, Kevin O'Leary. Oh, shit. This is really going to ruin the skin suit market.
No, I wanted this with, like, real skin. Not fabric.
Man, that was crazy. I'm glad rich people in real life aren't evil, or that could be bad.
The crazier thing though, it doesn't feel like in this world she's like the most evil. Like she's kind of riding on a system, you know, as most rich people kind of are. But it's like there's like a million other kind of Christy Smith kind of characters. I feel like in this world.
I mean, didn't Devil Wears Prada 2 just come out? I mean, like this is like the Goofus and Gallant.
I also
Goofus and Gallant, everybody. Highlights Magazine, our new sponsor.
I was
thinking about this on the drive home
as a kid.
I was thinking about this on the drive home, where they make her a like they give you the backstory of the Christy Smith character, which is that she was like a savant physics student as like a high schooler that went to MIT, and then she dropped out of MIT because she was so good at fashion. But it's like you think about those kinds of people and numbers and like the way that they think about the world in terms of math and numbers going up, and you know in these kind of these concepts, and it makes sense why someone would have this scientific view of these things where it's I don't know, where she's taking the humanity out of it, right? Like she's just thinking about the numbers, and it's like that character. And it's the same thing with like she sees a teleporter and she just thinks it's a teleporter for drop shipping, like
right. Logistics rather than ethics. A film by Jean-Luc Dogard.
Yeah, that was another moment where I burst out laughing.
Yeah, the movie within a movie. That was wonderful. That was good stuff.
There was another reference to a movie in here that I was like, I wrote it down, so I'll check my notes after this.
Christy Smith, Ankles of Steel. That's fast. They would have such strong ankles living in that office.
But she's objectively in some ways she's like a very impressive person. It's not like oh, this is a person that's like secretly nothing. It's like she's a genuinely impressive person. It's just what she's doing sucks.
Yeah, what she's doing is terrible, right?
Yeah.
Boots Riley is one of the few dudes who can pull off cramming 8 movies into one movie. Yes,
He's boosted 7 movies and put them inside the box.
Exactly. He looks to the Michelin Man, just like they do. That's a great visual gag, by the way, when they're like having that intense heart to heart, like going out to offload the stolen goods into the vehicle. Great. Good stuff.
He also literally uses the anthropomorphic lens that literally compresses everything into the.
Compress everything in. Those are Letterboxd one-liners for I Love Boosters. You can follow the Movie Night Extravaganza Letterboxd HQ account at Movie Night Extra, where we have all the movies that we cover on this very show, as well as the Tenet short form content, write-ups, all that sort of good stuff. Follow at Movie Night Extra for all that biz. The Booster CEO, I'd always flock over there. Forrest, that's your host over there. And he's logging stuff on Letterboxd. You can follow him as well for this show and for just whenever he just watches stuff for pleasure, which apparently is a thing that happens now and again. So I am. But you
you're watching for work or for business or for pleasure today. So.
Right, exactly. I feel like you have to fill that out when you start up your streaming service sooner or later. Of course, I'm at Conan Neutron. Now is not the time for nuance, Sade. Great line. You can follow me on Letterboxd for the Highbrow, Midbrow, Populous Fair. Working my way solidly through the Criterion Challenge 2026. Follow me along for that. I actually got a bunch of out of print stuff from the library that I was working through over the weekend, the holiday weekend. So follow me along for all that. Come say hi. Good stuff. I like the platform probably more than everyone on the show. I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely use it the most. I'm Kristina, Boost Advanced Nutritional Shake. How did you get the little R registered? That's good. Impressive.
Copy paste.
Okay. All right. She's at Kristina on Letterboxd. You can follow her as well for whenever she deigns to log for new releases, old stuff, whatever is on her mind. Let's hit it with the plugs.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership. But getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
That's right. Well, the Bob Bird episode, Bob Bird, of course, from Sonic Youth, circa Bad Moon Rising, as well as Chrome Cranks, Action Swingers, the John Spencer, the Hitmakers, Lydia Lynch, Retrovirus, so many great bands. That episode is now in the free feed. You can hear his all about his new record, Beach Blanket Bloodbath. Beach Bongo Bloodbath, sorry. So it's Bob Burt Beach Bongo Bloodbath. So much alliteration.
Sorry, saying that 5 times in a row.
But Bob's a fascinating guy. He did the BB Gun zine way back when. Some interesting Vincent Gallo talk that happened. That was a good episode. So follow that, protonicreversal.com for the archives. Get it for free there. Of course, $1 a month for advanced access. Patreon.com/protonicreversal for that kind of stuff. A great deal of Dead Pioneers, very socially conscious punk rock band that's getting a lot of heat right now. Coming on this Thursday should be interesting. They're getting a lot of attention right now, so looking forward to that conversation. Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends, of course, out on the East Coast in later June. So if you haven't already, mark it in your calendar if you're in those places. We're doing Youngstown, we're doing Baltimore, New York City, Brooklyn, Western Mass, Boston. We have West Coast coming up, Sacramento, San Francisco, Sacramento, Eureka, Portland, Seattle with the Null. And that's a poster for that any day now coming in. And then we have a bunch of other stuff cool coming up in the fall as well. Most of which I can't speak about. Right now it is Caterwaul season, though. Almost every day is Caterwaul for me.
Next week?
That is exactly. It's a week from Friday. So it's a lot of work.
Every day is Caterwaul. Every day is Caterwaul.
It really is, though.
Every May is Caterwaul. Let's go.
We're opening up more Friday tickets, so people that have been messaging me about that, like, stop. It's going to happen, and then that's it. Because that's a night that's that night's crazy. It's got the Crosses, it's got Digits, it's got Mike Watt, New Brutalism, Season of Risk. Like, it's any one of those bands would be like enough, and it's like we've got all of them. It's
hopefully this time I don't get rerouted through Atlanta. The Atlanta airport.
That's right. Yeah, kind of good. Hopefully not.
That sucks so fucking much. I was like, oh man, is there any mid-sized airport I hate more than the Atlanta airport? No, I don't think so. No. I've been to O'Hare. I've been to
my mom fucking like everyone's like, why not move to Atlanta? But I'm like, because Atlanta is awful. I'd rather live in New York City. The Atlanta airport force, same.
Well, I like Atlanta. I just don't love the airport, which is
this is the airport.
I like the train. That's it.
I mean, I will not disparage the people of Atlanta because I like playing there and I like that.
I stayed in like at my friends like cousins near Atlanta for like 3 weeks. I had a blast there, but the airport not good.
It's probably the worst.
I was on the Getting Out podcast with Ralph from Riot Coalition, mostly talking about Caterwaul, but talking about other stuff as well. So listen to that. That's Dan's podcast is really good. I was on talking about Secret Friends stuff. It was for Way of the Neutron sometime last year. I can't remember, but that's available wherever you get podcasts. Also doing Whatever Comes Next with Tom Osmond with the Riot Coalition guys. So come check that out. That'll be good. And then Radio K, big deal in the Minneapolis world, actual radio. Going to be on that tomorrow with the Caterwaul team. Talking about all things Caterwaul. I'm going to be so sick of talking about it, then it's going to be over. It's going to be great.
At least you know how to fucking play this year. That's like every single time, dude. The amount of stress that day is trying to be like, hey, Coney, can I play? And you're like, if this isn't something completely, it's like Steve Liff with the gun. This isn't something completely necessary.
Do not speak to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm constantly on the verge of my head exploding, basically. Yeah, but do it because I love it, I guess. But it's lots of Caterwaul stuff coming up. And for some reason, if you're remotely interested, you haven't got your tickets yet, you probably should. I'm not going to evangelize for it at this point. Yeah, Forrest is going to be there. Come hang out.
I'm going to be there.
We have run into people that know the show, that usually through me, but they're like, oh, you're that Forrest.
I'm going to be wearing a floppy sun hat. that one year where I brought the floppy sun hat, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I have this. And then he who must not be named was just making fun of my hat, and I'm like, well, at least I'm not getting sunburned right now.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, that's all what's going on with that. I got a couple things to announce later it'll be later this summer, but it's all good stuff. So keep him busy.
I hope so. I hope you're not announcing like I have cancer.
Oh my God. Why is that what you jumped to? Jesus Christ.
Imagine like a podcast now. Imagine doing it during the plugs. It's like you're plugging the thing. You're like, I got the test results back.
Well, I mean, I guess
dialytical remove your cancer. Like what?
Well, I mean, Reiner's awaiting a heart transplant right now. He's probably not going to be at Caterwaul because like he is like spending every day in the hospital. He's mentioned it like in press, so it's not like a big secret or anything. But it's like it's been more stressful than normal just because we're down a guy, basically. Like he's focused on staying alive. He ain't worried about these bands.
Best wishes to him.
He's got an O positive, which is great for donating blood, but like not so great when you're waiting an organ transplant. So,
but I was thinking, I think the kids thing popped in my head because I was thinking about the room where she's like, I got the test results back. I definitely have breast cancer, and then they never mentioned it again. She's in the movie.
Right. Yeah. Good shit. Anyway, so that's what's going on in my world. Stressed out but doing cool stuff. Kristina, Boost Advanced Nutritional Shake. What do you got?
Well, I streaming a lot as always.
You streamed?
Yeah, I can't believe it. Just doing my thing as always. I mean, people come for the breaks and the music, and people love it when I just don't talk about too much heavy stuff. People love it when I rant. They love it when I also like to be entertaining and fun, which is good.
Wait, you're saying people enjoy you being entertaining and fun?
Yes.
This seems like you're over promising. You're over delivering.
We're gonna have to verify these with reputable sources.
Yeah, people are like, yeah, cool. I come to you to need a break from when people are streaming 8+ hours of Doom stuff, and I'm like, cool, good.
I can't take 8+ seconds of it, so good for them.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's thundering out right now. And Forrest and I, we got our show tomorrow.
Yep. Show.
I never know.
Topo Gigio.
Oh, so
I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about until like.
Talking.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was on last week with Josh to talk about the Michael movie, and he's going to do like a retrospect review of one of the.
Cool.
Yeah, he's either he was like, should I do Moonwalker, The Jackson American Dream, and yet nowhere on his poll was Ghost, and I'm like, you're gonna do Moonwalker, you know Moonwalker, but not Ghost. So I made him watch it when I was streaming.
To be fair, well, how many movies does he really know?
Yeah, but I'm like, how do you? I'm like Stan Winston, Stephen King, Michael Jackson in a fat suit and old man makeup dancing. Are you kidding me? That's my favorite short film of his. But yeah, so it was fun. I'm like, if you're gonna do, or he also was like, maybe The Jacksons, An American Dream. I'm like, Angela Bassett, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. I love it. But yeah, also June 27th, Saturday, mark it. Shadow Saturdays are back for the 60th anniversary of Dark Shadows. And Tubi has all the episodes before Barnabas showed up.
Tubi,
I'm excited
the people's
for.
platform.
Literally. That is it.
Wait, this all right. This just really cracked me up. It's I'm still watching I Love Boosters, and it's still so much to dissect. Are you texting during the movie?
Funny. That's good. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he got 4K followers now, Forrest.
Well, it's like the dude I saw, like the first time I saw Weapons, the guy next to me was like scrolling TikTok. I'm like, what are you doing?
I just love that Boots Riley has gotten to the point where he
will call you out if you.
Shit.
Individual people texting during the movie. But he'll also like help people get a ride on the bus. Like literally, he will
just make sure you also got to sign a little thing to make sure that they did not
Someone was like, I want to go see it, but I don't want to take the bus alone. And Boots Riley quote tweeted it, and they didn't even tag him or anything. He quote tweeted, he's like, "Can anyone ride the bus with my boy here in Canada?"
Right. It's the whole country.
Yeah. But yeah.
Is that it?
Ready for lay final thoughts. And I'm not even gonna filibuster on this one. Kristina, lay final thoughts.
I feel kind of bad about that, but you were talking like uninterrupted, like for like a while, and like you're doing it in such a way that like you didn't want anyone to interrupt you. I'm like, my God, how long is he gonna go? He's got to come up for air at some point.
The Adderall kicked in.
I felt bad about it, but it also was accurate. All right.
So yeah, this movie is fucking awesome. Everything about it, the color, cinematography, the costume, the performances, the comedic timing, while also addressing something very, very serious that's going on. And hopefully this film can help radicalize some white liberals, maybe. I don't know. But I mean, I'm looking forward to see what Boots Riley's got, next. I mean, he's gonna be one of those that's gonna release like a banger movie like every few years or so. I see him really taking his time to produce real art that has meaning, and I feel like we don't have enough of that right now.
It's gonna be like my next movie I really love boosters.
The sequel.
Conan.
That's
I bet
stupid.
You have,
What that is the dumbest. That is both funny and dumb at the same time.
Isn't that like half the things I say though?
Yeah. I mean, like it's whatever. Sometimes it's smart. Yeah. My turn. Okay. Maximal surrealistic, colorful, smart, hilarious, and stridently class-conscious romp. So far, definitely the most innovative movie of the year. I love how abjectly political it is, but also how funny it is. Just uproariously funny. There's a lot packed in here. Yeah, it's a full course meal of brilliant ideas that has the manic intensity of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but also is a grounded working poor story. Great. I think it's slightly more mature. Sorry to bother you, but I like in no place would any viewer ever be bored. And I love the sets matching the freak of Gerwig's Barbie as well as Demi and Wizard of Oz. Right. Mentioned Keke Palmer at the top of the show, just well-deserved star-making turn. All the supporting players are great. Naomi, Ackie, Taylour, Paige. We didn't really talk about Poppy Lou, Eiza Gonzalez, Poulter, LaKeith, Stanfield, Demi Moore as the heavy. The cast could just run on vibes and be worth watching. But there's so much meat on this bone. As somebody who also hates shopping, just like Boots Riley, it's so neat to see the culture of boosters performed in this awesome narrative. And playing it against Demi Moore's genius billionaire designer of the fashion industry, who's reselling looks to people who originated them but can't afford them. It's perfect. And Boots Riley isn't just a great musician. He directs like one, and that's a huge compliment. And I think it's important to support this kind of stuff as much as you can. See it with friends if you can. I made the choice to see this movie over another movie I wanted to see that's pulled up by a major studio, and it's the correct one, and I was happy I did so because there's a lot of movies out there, but when something happens that's special, you have to celebrate it almost like 5 times as hard for it to count. So that's what we're doing here.
Yep.
Here we are.
I can't find this to pull it up, but there's this really funny thing that I saw where it was somebody being remember Stefan from SNL where they had the bit where
it's like that thing where
he said it. So he was like, "This film has everything: a giant rolling ball, people with no skin," and he just listed from the movie.
Don Cheadle in a fat suit, like doing
Yeah. I think somebody in the comments said they didn't realize that was Don Cheadle, which I was like, you know what? Same, honestly. Until I was like, oh yeah, he was in that movie.
It's like watching Michael Jackson and Ghost. You don't realize that fat old man is actually him.
You see him dancing, and you're like, all right, I know who that is.
Yeah, that's it. I'm like, no fat. Yeah.
And props.
When I was watching it, because I went with my mom and we spent the day in Rhinebeck before I went to Upstate Films. Shout out to Upstate Films. I really like their little space, and they gave me free movie tickets when I was there, which is cool to see something because I had bought tickets for the wrong showing, and then they were like, "Oh, we'll just give you back as free movie tickets." So hell yeah,
that's great.
I'm definitely going back. But I was trying to explain, I was like, that's
shout out to them. We love things that are free.
Shout out to Upstate Film. They recently opened another place with Amanda Seyfried. She was like,
because she does. She's very big. Yeah, that's
but she
Amanda Seyfried, come on the show. Thank you.
Yeah,
but, they
talk about socialism and why Charlie Kirk sucks.
I was like, that's Don Cheadle, and my mom was like, who's Don Cheadle again? And I was like, and I was about to be like, Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah, remember that movie?
I mean, not wrong, but yeah, that's funny. That's like, okay.
That's a good movie.
that was a sad movie. I didn't want to think about that when I was watching this. I was like, get out of my head, Rwanda.
Think of Marvel. Think of Marvel. That'll help.
Close your eyes and think of Marvel.
It's a balance. On one side, there's Hotel Rwanda. On the other side, there's Marvel movies, and you're like,
I mean,
that's how I hide the contradictions.
I don't think of either of those things when I think of that guy, but okay.
Really?
I mean,
I know you probably think of the Golden Palace, right? Wasn't he on that? The Golden Girls sequel show?
The Golden Palace is that a real thing? Is that a real thing? Oh, I know.
He played the guy who runs the hotel, I think.
The second movie that pops into my head because I just saw it was Boogie Nights, where he's
oh yeah.
Yeah, and he has the blood. He sees the guy get shot or whatever, and he has the blood just splattered on him at the end of Boogie Nights.
I just know him he's he's in a lot of he's in the show with Kristen Bell. What was that show? That show's really good about the consultants. He was a real bastard in that. That was awesome. House of Lies.
Let me see the on the films like because Letterboxd always does like the list or whatever. So it's all the Marvel ones. Ocean's 11.
Yeah, it's Rhodey. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Boogie Nights. Ocean's 12. Ocean's 13. Rush Hour 2.
If you
not a very good.
You kick it with the wrong leg.
Bullworth is on the list.
He was in Bullworth. I forgot about that.
I remember. I cannot believe this. Ghetto Superstar was for that movie.
You can't believe it? I remember it very well because that's how I knew that song.
Yeah,
Captain Planet with Don Cheadle.
That is what we are. That's where. Yeah, okay. But after party, this is after party material, so tune in.
Captain Planet.
15 minutes.
Wait, Captain Planet with Don Cheadle, and then Don Cheadle is Captain Planet Part 2.
Let's keep bringing up Don Cheadle's filmography. Tune in next week. Closing out the Third Kind. J.G. Michael returning. For the first time in a really, really long time. Close Encounters, we're leading up to Disclosure Day, the new Spielberg movie that is premiering in mid-June. And then Project Hail Mary with Kira Rossler of Black Flag, who worked on that movie.
It's been so long since we've had J.G. Michael on that he was wondering if we had like an issue with him.
Did we have beef or something? And we're like,
and I was like, no, it's been a while.
That's the first time someone's been like, besides Adam McKay or Josh Olsen, I want to come back on your podcast. You know,
exactly.
I like how the Don Cheadle.
I like how you name dropped that. That was good. Really.
I am going, but I am going to be. I'm going to be reading all the Don Cheadle movies into the Congressional Record. But I like how he was in Hotel Rwanda, King Leopold's Ghost, Darfur Now. Like, how does he get any work that's not just like a movie about genocide? Oh man, we got to make the Gaza the movie.
War Machine in the MCU. That's the
we got to make Gaza the movie. Call Don Cheadle. He needs to star in it.
Anyway, tune in the after party for I guess more of that.
We hit 2 hours. 2 hours exactly. That means we can't be on screen.